Hello, everyone, and welcome to Lifesum's webinar, Fueling for Fitness, Optimizing Pre- and Post-Workout Nutrition. My name is Henrik, the Managing Editor of Lifesum, and I'm thrilled to have you with us today for what I know is an insightful session with our lead nutritionist, Signe, and our creative chef, Julia. This webinar is focused on, as the title says, how to optimize nutrition pre and post workout. But before we get into the webinar, I would like to stress that in the end, we have some time for Q&A. So if you have questions, comments, whatever, please send them in the Q&A folder and we'll get to them at the end. With that said, hello, Signe, and hello, Julia.
Hi, Henrik. Great to meet you, and thank you so much for participating, everyone. My name is Signe. I'm the lead nutritionist here at Lifesum, and today we're going to talk about fueling for fitness. It's really good to see you all. And as Henrik said, if you have any questions about this topic, what I'm talking about, or nutrition in general, you can just write in the Q&A box below. We're just gonna see if Julia is coming in here. It's always a bit of a technical issues with these things. I'm gonna see if she's in yet. Otherwise, we can just get started. And Henrik, maybe you can help her with that along the way. I can present her.
Of course.
Great. So let's go then. So I'm Signe, as I said, and I'm the food science nutritionist. I have a bachelor's degree in food service and nutrition from Uppsala, where I'm also pursuing my master's. And I'm the lead nutritionist at Lifesum, and I've been here for over 5 years now, and time really flies. And with us today, so we soon have Julia Cedenblad, which is a creative chef here at Lifesum. And she has a bachelor's degree in culinary arts and meal science at Örebro University. And Julia creates the most amazing recipes here. I mean, all of us that works here get the privilege to taste them and just see her cooking, which is amazing. So she will probably join us shortly here. So today's agenda, we're going to talk a bit about the basics of nutrition, because that's always good repeating, even though you know some of it already. Then we're going to go into nutritional workout performance and recovery strategies when it comes to how food can help us there. And then we're going to go through some nutrition for pre and post workout. And then Julia is also going to talk about her favorite recipes for those purposes. And then we have ending with a Q&A session. So whenever during the webinar, just write your questions in the chat or in the Q&A sections. So first of all, what is Lifesum? So Lifesum is a digital platform helping over 60 million users globally to live a healthier life through better eating. And our app exists in 11 different languages. So we have users all over the world. I mean, you can write in the chat too, if you want to write where you are from or where you're based. That would be really interesting to know. So Lifesum, we aim at helping people towards a healthier life through better eating in a safe and sustainable way. And in the app, you insert your personal numbers and goal and nutritional preferences, and then we will provide you with an individual recommendation based on that. And as many of you know, we have a lot of different diet and meal plans in the app as well, so you can find a way that suits your preferred way of eating, because we know that there's not a one size that fits all, so we all need to find a way that suits our preferences. And we also have the life score, which gives an individual feedback based on the habits that you had from the previous week. So either you take the life score test, which is 41 or 42 questions about your habits, or you track for a week, and then the upcoming Monday, you get a new life score with feedbacks on what you're doing well and how you can improve your weekly habits. And in the app, can't not mention this, but we have over 1,000 delicious and nutritious recipes that I really, really, really would recommend you to check out. They're absolutely amazing and so easy to cook too. So all from breakfast, lunches, dinners, and snacks. So let's dive into some basics of nutrition. So first of all, we have energy, and as we generally speak about it, it's calories. And calories is a unit for how much energy there is in the food and drinks we consume. And our body requires energy to function. Like even when resting and lying completely still, we still need energy to function. So even like for our heart to pump, for our blood to flow, like when breathing, so everything in our body needs energy to function. So how much energy we need in that resting phase is called our BMR, or basic metabolic rate. But then we also need an additional amount of energy when moving in our daily life. Like even by sitting, we need more energy, or standing, or even exercising, then we need more energy. We're going to go into that a bit more further on too. And we also need energy to digest and absorb the food we eat. So that also takes a bit of energy. And all of these sums up to our daily energy expenditure. And it's really like it varies a lot in between individuals. So it's not like a one size that fits all. I mean, we can like estimate like an adult needs a certain amount of energy, but it's really like up to your body composition, your daily movements, your sex, your age, height, and weight. And using a tool like Lifesum can help you determine how much your individual energy recommendation is. And then we have the macronutrients, or macros, which is a short for it. And this is the building blocks in our diet that provide us with energy. And there are 3 different types of macronutrients. So we have carbohydrates, which provide 4 calories per gram. We have fat, which provide 9 calories per gram, and protein that provides 4 calories per gram. So these are needed for various functions in the body. So like in general, like carbohydrates are our body's primary source of energy. So if they are available, our body will use them as energy. And our brain alone needs around 100 grams of carbohydrates per day. And then we have protein, which, as many of you know, is really vital for our muscles and to build tissues. And it's also really needed for enzymes and hormones. So protein is really vital for us. And then we have fat, which is important for our cells, but also for our hormones. And we also need fat in order to absorb the fat-soluble vitamins that are in the food we eat, so the A, D, and K vitamins. But there are also some fat sources or fat acids that are essential, which is the omega-3 and omega-6. So that we need to get them from the food we eat. And then there's also other nutrients that provide energy, such as fiber, alcohol, and sugar alcohols. And we're going to go into like why these are important for nutrition, and when it comes to these are important for our workout strategy as well. But now I want to ask you a little thing here. If you answer this poll, how much water do you drink per day? This is going to be really interesting. Oh my God, it's good. Okay, I'm gonna give you a bit more time here. So many of you were so fast at the beginning. Oh, but it's okay, now I'm gonna end this one. So here you can see the results. So most of you drink 6 to 8 glasses per day. It's pretty good. And then we have a few of you that only drink 1 to 2 glasses per day. Thank you so much for participating. This was fun to know. So, did you see the results? Perfect. And then we can go back to this one. Is the poll gone now, Henrik? Perfect.
It is gone, yeah.
Excellent. So, and I mean, hydration is really vital for us as well. Let's see if I can go back to this one. So hydration is really vital for everything. Like it's important for our lungs, for our brain, for our skin, digestion, and so much more. So it's really vital for everything in our body, basically. And it's needed for like so many different functions, and it's how much water we need is very individual as well. So as you can see, like the amount of water that you drank it varied quite a lot. And it is very individual too, but like it's really important that we are well hydrated, and it can vary like depending on our body composition, how much we move, and like our daily activities, if we sweat a lot, and also what type of climate we live in. But a good way to check that if you are properly hydrated is to check your urine in the morning. If it has a dark, very, very strong yellow color, it's an indicator that you need to drink a bit more. But if it has a clearer, lighter color, it's a sign that you are pretty well hydrated. So it's a good thing to check in the morning before starting your day, basically. And using the Lifesum tracker in the Lifesum water tracker in the app is a great way to make sure you get enough. So now let's dive into what constitutes a healthy diet. And a healthy diet could contain a varied intake filled with nutrient-dense food, such as vegetables, legumes, which is beans and lentils, fruit and berries and whole grains. And what these different food groups have in common is that they are high in fiber, which is really important for our digestions and to keep our blood sugar stable. And it can also help prevent diseases and aid digestion. Yeah, so it's really, really important. And these different groups also are really high in vitamins and minerals. And a healthy and varied diet should also contain sources of healthy unsaturated fat, which is found in nuts, seeds, olive oil, avocado, and much more, such as salmon, mackerel. And this is really important for our heart health, and it can also help to prevent diseases. So when swapping the saturated fat, which is found in animal-based products, such as butter, cream, cheese, and meat, and swapping them to unsaturated fat instead, we can actually decrease the risk of cardiovascular disease. So that's really important. And a healthy diet should also contain sources of protein. And many people think that protein only exists in animal-based products, such as poultry, meat, eggs, or fish. But protein exists in so many more foods than that, such as beans, lentils, tofu, grains, and nuts. So we should always aim at varying the intake within these different food groups in order to get enough of everything. Because no food item alone will provide you all nutrients that you need. So we need to eat a bit of everything here. So depending on your own food preferences, if you have any allergies, intolerances, or what's available where we live. So depending on those, we can get a bit of everything. But just aim at eating a varied diet. That's the goal here. So let's see if I can start another poll here. Let's see if you struggle getting anything of these. It's so fun to see the numbers of respondents here ticking up. It's really, really good. Okay, let's see the last one can. Okay, I'm pretty sure all of you that wants to answer have answered now. So I can say that it's a bit variety here as well. Maybe we should have made this that you can answer several replies here. But I can say that it's all from whole grains, vegetables, and fruit, mostly protein and legumes. And I mean, beans and lentils can be pretty tricky for people to include in their diet, because some people get some digestive issues with them, some people doesn't know what to cook with them. But a great tip here too is if you want to eat more legumes, which is beans and lentils, chickpeas, I mean, search for those food items in the Lifesum recipe tab, and you can find recipes with them. I mean, Julia made just the other day here, she made chocolate bark with chickpeas, and people went nuts here. Everyone was fighting about it.
I can confirm they were absolutely delicious.
Yeah, they were amazing. You can also see them in our Instagram page if you want to see the recipes. Perfect. Thank you so much for answering that one as well. So I mean, it can be tricky to include these different things. When building meals, there are some things that we can have in mind. So if you think about building a balanced meal, we should always aim at having a carb source. And here, some people of you are struggling getting enough whole grain. But I mean, always aim at when you're choosing the pasta, or when you're choosing rice, aim at choosing the whole grain option here. So choose the brown rice, choose the whole grain pasta or whole grain bread. Barley is also a great option, or quinoa. It's not really like a grain, but it's counted as a herb, I think. But I mean, choose those different options instead, because they're so much higher in fiber, and they also have more vitamins and minerals compared to the refined version of it. So that's a like really good tip to always choose that option when available. And then protein was also something that many of you struggle with, but I would actually recommend you to like track everything you eat and see how much protein you eat, because I think you would be surprised how much protein there actually is in the food that you eat. So it's not just like the chicken, salmon, tofu, edamame beans, and falafel and turkey, that like those are really great protein sources, but we also have protein from other things as well. So like in total, it's like you tend to sum up in a quite high number, even though you're not expecting it. And then we have fat source. Some of you also, like it was quite few that struggled getting healthy fat in, but we have it in fatty fish, avocado, nuts, and seeds. So like these different things are good to think about when building meals. And then of course, we should aim at having some vegetables in there as well, such as broccoli, cauliflower, zucchini, eggplant, mushroom, and kale. And I mean, vegetables of all kinds. We should just like, you know, vary endlessly here. There's so many great vegetables out there. So now let's dive into the topic of today, fuel for performance. So first of all, like we need an adequate amount of energy. I was talking about energy before, but when it comes to like performance and workout, energy is like so important. I mean, it's important for everything, of course, and for everyone, even if you're not working out. But when it comes to performance and exercise and races and stuff, it's so vital. And too little energy, like it can lead to muscle fatigue, lack of energy, decreased performance, weakness, and decreased the endurance as well. So energy is really, really vital. And like if you're running, like, I don't know, a marathon, maybe not everyone is running a marathon, but if you're running like even 10Ks, like make sure to eat enough energy. You lose more energy when you're working out. So you might need to add an additional meal there if you have like a really extensive workout. And it can also be good to like track your exercise and see how much energy you lose there as well. But then we also need to think about the macronutrients when working out. So as I said previously, like carbs is our body's main source of fuel. And they're really, really important for explosive movements when it comes to performance and exercise. So if you do like explosive exercise, and make sure that you have your glycogen stores filled, as lack of carbs can really impact the performance here. And carbs is really important both pre and post workout. And then we have protein, of course, which is vital for our muscles and tissues. And it's really important for the muscle recovery afterwards, and also before the workout to nourish the muscles. So protein is really, really important. That's to make sure to get enough. So like if you're working out a lot, you could need up to like 2 grams of protein per kilo body weight. And then we also have fat, and fat is not really talked as much around food, like when it comes to fueling for performance and fitness. And it's because like it shouldn't really be included close to the workout. We're going to go more into that soon, but like it's still important for long-term energy, and it's used in like less explosive movements. So like if you're running for a longer distance or having a longer session, we will use fat as energy as well. Yeah, and shouldn't be preferred like close to the workout. We will go into that soon. So when we fuel for a workout, it's really important, like if you have the main meals, which is far away in time from the workout, we should just aim at having those balanced meals, you know, with the complex carbs, protein, vegetables, and healthy sources of fat, as I was talking about previously. But for the meals that are closer to a workout, it's some other things that we should have in mind here. So like we need to pay attention to having easily digestible foods that provide energy and to nourish our muscles. So we should aim at having easily digestible carbohydrates. And that can be like fruit, it can be like some dairy, it can be like some dried fruit is really perfect here as well. But what we need to have in mind here is that it's so individual what works best for you here. So we need to like try, if you're doing a race, for instance, make sure to try to like, try to eat certain meals before the workout to see what works best for you, because we don't want to have like digestive issues or an upset stomach when doing a race or an exercise, because that can really impact your performance there as well. And we also want to have protein here. And the reason we don't want to have fat and like fiber here, so like the easy digestible carbohydrates are the simple one that tend to be less fiber rich, is because both fat and fiber can actually slow down the digestion of the food, which means that we won't be able to use the energy as quickly. So it's like important to have easily digestible foods here. So making a smoothie is, for instance, a perfect choice here as well. I know Julia has some good ideas here ahead of us. So think about like protein and easily digestible carbohydrates. And of course, like don't make it a massive meal just before your workout. It all depends like in timing and what like your schedule here as well. And then we have hydration, which is also really vital here. So it's really important first, like before the exercise, like if you have time, if the work is, or performance or race is going to be later on during the day, it's really important to make sure to stay hydrated during the day. So like drink regularly, don't drink like enormously amount of water like in the same go, but just like, drink regular during the day, smaller amounts, more regular. And like during the workout, if it's less than 60 minutes or less than an hour, it's enough to just drink like pure water. That will be enough to hydrate. And then make sure, of course, to drink afterwards as well. But during the workout, it can be enough with just water. However, if the workout is longer than 60 minutes, then it can be good to like include some sports drink or make your own sports drink, of course. Because we need to like replenish the electrolytes that we lose from sweating. And then also if you want to absorb the water quickly, it can also be beneficial to include carbohydrates in the drink. And it also makes it taste better. So this is like if you're doing a longer race, for instance, or just working out for like 2 hours or something. But for like in general, if we're just like going for a shorter run or doing like a class in the gym, plain water will be enough. And you can make your own sport drink by mixing like water, fruit juice, and some salt as well. And then, of course, continue to work drink after the workout. So let's do another poll here. It's a bit complicated here. Let's see. The last one. No. Let's see. Back. So, do you include some pre and post workout meals in your routine? I love that you're so good at answering this. It's so fun. Okay. Okay. No. Maybe all of you answer no. There's some more. Okay, now it's. Oh, there's more. I can't stop this when I see more people ticking in here. Okay, now it's 85 of you answered already, so that's good. Okay, so it's like it's really varied here as well. Sometimes, yes, always. I mean, I was a bit surprised about these results. Amazing. Thank you so much. Love this polls. It's fun. Okay. So let's dive into some pre and post workout. Like, what should you think about? So when we think about building a pre-workout snack, like I mentioned before, like it's really important that it works for you before your race. And it's also like depending on what you're going to do here in this session. So if you're like doing a race, of course, you need to pay more attention to it as well. But think about easily digestible carbs, fruit, dairy, dried fruit, rice or corn cakes, and then some protein like chicken, like some tofu slices or maybe some turkey slices, eggs, Greek yogurt or cottage cheese. Make like a quick sandwich maybe if you have time or if you feel that that's get comfortable to do. But it's really important to think about like how close to the workout are you here. If it's like just half an hour before, maybe it can be enough to just like, drink a glass of juice or something. But if it's like, if you have an hour or 2 hours before, you can actually make something a bit bigger. And then also really important to be well hydrated here. And as I said, like it's really important to think about like what type of exercise am I doing as well. But Julia, do you have any suggestions of a good pre-workout recipe?
I do, and
Yes.
just want to say hi and sorry for being late. I'm obviously the chef here at Lifesum, hence not working on the tech side and not figuring out how to get in this Zoom call. So I picked up some recipes from the app that I personally love. And this is a pre-workout smoothie that is amazing. It will fuel your body and you will feel like energized. But I think, as Signe mentioned before, at least for me, it's super important not to feel heavy. You still want to feel like light and not that you had a big meal. So this is actually a really nice smoothie to have just before a workout.
Amazing. Thank you. Look, I mean, I was with you when you took this picture, and I mean, this smoothie was so good. It's so good, like with the little tingly from the, it's like, it sounds a bit strange, like you're mixing a bit of orange juice with Greek yogurt, but it's so nice. You get like a bit tingly. It's really
nice. And especially like now when you have the season of blood orange, you can always like switch it out to whatever citrus fruit you like. You can use grape juice, for example, or oranges or whatever you like. But it's nice because it breaks out and makes it really, really fresh.
Yeah, I agree. Thank you, Julia. So when you're thinking about like building for a post-workout snack, then it's actually kind of the same thing to have in mind here, because when after the workout, we want something to quickly like refuel. And this is extremely important if you're an athlete or train like one, that like having one thing, maybe a workout in the morning, and then you have a second workout in the day or later on in the day, or if you have like 2 races on the same day, then it's really vital that you refuel with carbohydrates to replenish the glycogen stores. So this is really important too. And it's the same here, like fruit, dairy, dried fruit, rice and corn cakes. And then we also want to include a protein source here as well to help recover the muscles. And a good ratio to think about is to have like three parts carbs and 1 part protein here. So that can be really good to have in mind as well. And it's also really important to like, refuel the hydration here, the fluids. So drink like a larger amount. I mean, many of us tend to be very thirsty straight after a workout. So I mean, drink a larger amount of water straight after the exercise, but then also continue to drink small amounts throughout the day as well here. Because like if we drink 2 large amounts at the same time, it can be quite uncomfortable. So I mean, drink when you're thirsty, of course, but just think about like continue to do so throughout the day as well. But Julia, do you have a good post-workout recipe for us?
I have the perfect post-workout recipe. It's a protein-packed oatmeal with mixed berries. This is one of my favorite recipe. I kind of eat it every day. Signe knows this. And you can change the flavor of this oatmeal, of course. And if you like chocolate, use chocolate protein powder. I think it's really nice with the vanilla and the berries. But you can also, if you want some extra protein to your protein oatmeal, add an egg while you're cooking the oatmeal, whisk it in so it gets super creamy, or you just top it off with some cottage cheese. It makes it super tasty.
Thank you so much. This looks amazing. I'm a big fan of oats.
Yeah, we are the oat girls.
Yes. But then we should also think about like recovery meals. So this, when I talk about recovery meals, I mean those meals that we don't have as close to the workouts, where we can think about, getting all of the nutrients in, except for just like, the carbs and the protein. So think about here again, like varied balanced meal, rich in protein, fiber, and healthy fats that will help you meet your individual recommendations. So here's like important to fill up. So maybe some people can experience, it's a bit difficult to eat just before or straight after, or appetite can be decreased a bit just straight after a heavy workout. So, but it's really still important that you hit your daily energy recommendations. So these meals that are further away in time from your workouts are really crucial as well. Like even if they're not like impacting like straight away, they will impact you further on. Like we need to make sure that we have get enough of everything. So think about getting at least like 45 to 60 energy percent from carbs, 15 to 20 energy percentage from protein, and then 20 to 30 energy percentage from fat. So that's a good like general recommendation to have for this. Yeah. And like if we're working out a lot or are on energy deficient, or protein will increase as well. So then we need to think about eating a bit more protein as well. And yeah, the same here, like if you're working out a lot, your energy need will also increase. But it's of course depending on your goal as well, if you have any specific goal. But Julia, I want to hear about this meal now, because I know it's delicious. We made it for the whole office now, just 2 weeks back.
Yeah, I love this salad. It's one of my favorites. I love the fact that when you're doing it, you can also meal prep, which I love. It saves time. It's easy, one of those days when you're stressed and you have lots to do, you like just reach in the fridge and you have like the perfect meal. It's a miso chicken bowl. But you can also use salmon if you prefer that, shrimp, and I know Signe's favorite is actually the smoked tofu, which also work great for this. And also, as I said before, with the eggs, if you want to add some extra protein, you can always add a cooked egg, which works perfectly. And this salad is really nice, just the fact that it's a lot of crunchy veggies, which last a longer time. So if you meal prep, you still have that like colorful, crunchy, nice dish as you see here, even though it's been sitting in the fridge for a couple of days, which I think it's a big plus. And of course, after you're done eating, you can always track the recipe in the app to make sure you're reaching your goal.
Yes, you should really do so. Thank you, Julia. These were amazing. So make sure to check them out. You can just search for the different titles here in the recipe tab. Thank you. And make sure to check out the other recipes as well. So Lifesum can really help you like hitting your fueling strategy. So making sure that you get enough energy, making sure that your meals are balanced, that you're hitting your protein target, making sure that you get enough fiber all through your meals throughout the day. But also raise your awareness about nutritional value in food items, and also like in the compositions of meal, because like sometimes you can think that you're having a really balanced meal, but then it's like, oh, but I'm actually lacking fiber here, or this is actually quite low in carbs. So it's really good to just, open your eyes a bit and learn more about food and nutrition, because you can always learn more. I can tell you that. So this is really important or good. And then before we jump into the Q&A, I can see that you asked a lot of great questions already. And I just want to say something quick about the corporate well-being solution, Lifesum for Work. With Lifesum for Work, you can have access to Lifesum Premium as an employee benefit. And if you want to learn more about this, you can please just email partners@lifesum.com. Okay, let's dive into some Q&A.
Yes, we have gotten, like Signe said, a lot of great questions. As someone who likes to go to the gym, I would be remiss if I didn't take the opportunity to take the first question. Signe,
yes,
should one take creatine monohydrate before or after the workout?
This is actually a really good question. And I mean, creatine, it can actually help us like with the performance. So you should drink it like before the workout. So or you could, if you want to, like, there's nothing like, you don't have to do anything of this. Like you can actually do everything with just like plain normal food. But it can help, for some, it can help with performance. It can help with, with like the strength and endurance. But like always with these different things, it's really important to like read the specific product that you are taking, and like read the instructions to do it the way it's supposed to be done. So that's really important to check for it.
And on that subject, another question is, do you recommend adding protein powder to your smoothie before a workout if you cannot eat a meal that has protein in it?
Yeah, I mean, protein powder, like that, same thing here. Like protein powder is not needed. Like you don't need to add protein powder, but it can be really easy, and it can be an easy way to get your protein goal or hit your protein goal. And like if you have like issues like eating or like, you know, it's just like convenient to actually like bring some protein powder, and then you can just like mix it with some water or milk or whatever you have available. So it can be really convenient, I would say. So I mean, you can do it just like if you want to do it a bit before, or if you want to include it in your post-workout meal, you could do so as well. But I would say like protein powder is really convenient. It's not needed or essential, but it can really be convenient. You can also mix it in, like as Julia said, like an oatmeal for a more like filling meal, but it's a protein shake. Can totally help you reach your protein target.
Thank you for that. On the matter of protein, we have a question from Wesley. As a woman in my 40s, I'm hearing more and more often how important adequate protein intake is for hormonal health and general well-being. Recently, in order to quote unquote get it in, I've been eating some fairly processed protein bars. What are your thoughts on this?
I mean, I would say always strive at getting protein from food sources first, or like, you know, yeah, food protein protein bars are also food, but I mean these also tend to have other things in them that might not be as good as like getting it from like fish or tofu or other eggs, like plain like food sources as well. I mean, some of these can be quite high in sugar, they can be high in saturated fat, so I mean you can always check the nutritional label and like aim at getting the protein from other sources instead of protein bars, I would say. That's my personal opinion. I mean, some protein bars can be very nutritious as well, and if that's like your only way of hitting your protein target, you could I mean, nothing is so unhealthy you can never eat it. Of course, you can have a protein bar every now and then, but I wouldn't say that protein bars should be your main source of protein. I think you could get it from other types of sources than that. But thanks for the question.
Can I jump in there, Signe, just to add a suggestion? Like, if you are struggling, as you say, with getting the protein in and you want something on the go, and making like an overnight oats and a chia pudding to bring with, and then, you know, then you get like other stuff in, and then you can add the protein powder to that, which it's like in a nice way to like have it on the go.
Exactly. Or even make like a chia pudding with low-fat Greek yogurt, for instance. That has a lot of protein as well. So that can also be a great tip. I love that I'm saying that my tips are great also.
Well, but maybe that's because they are. And thank you, Julia, for stealing the next question in line. So we have a question from Christian, who writes, I think it's also important what part of the day you work out. I've noticed that I have a lot more energy if working out in the evening, as I've already had 2 solids meal by that time. Can you talk about timing workout as well? And what's the ideal time to eat before exercising to use the energy to the maximum?
Yeah, I mean, this is a really common question that I get, like, okay, when should I work out, or when should I eat? But I mean, it's so individual. For some, it like some can't run with meals in their stomach, for instance. Some just like can only run with an empty stomach in the morning, while others absolutely cannot. So this is really important. Of course, like if you have like proper meals throughout the day and then you work out in the evening, then of course you are have energy from the food. But then for some others, maybe they're so exhausted from work or having like a full day of other things, so they're not so energized. So it's really important as well. And I mean, meal timing is so individual, but if you should think about like, if you're an athlete, for instance, then you aim at having like a big meal or like a large main meal up to like 5 or 4 hours before the race or the performance. And then you have like a smaller meal, just like 2 hours before the meal, then like I'm talking about like a smoothie or something small, and then something really, really small, like just like plain carbs, basically, just before, or 30 minutes before. But I mean, it's so individual, because like the most important thing is that we shouldn't feel discomfort or like something unpleasant in our stomachs or in our energy levels. So it's really like up to, it's a boring answer, I know, but we need to find whatever works best for ourselves. And I mean, the most important thing is that we get enough, both of exercise and also the nutrition.
We have a question from Johan, who writes, do you have any advice for maintaining high protein intake while on a vegan diet without overshooting a daily calorie intake?
Yes. So I mean, some can feel like it's pretty tricky to be like on a plant-based diet and hitting protein, but it's because like it can be more challenging, of course. But it can also be challenging. Like another struggle people have is to get enough energy in a plant-based diet too, because you need to have like, you know, the volume goes up quite quickly without getting so much energy there, because it's like a bit lower calorie foods. But I mean, include tofu from different types. I mean, we have also had great smoothies that have silk tofu in. It doesn't have as much protein as the firm type of tofu, but it can still be a good protein source. So include like tofu, include beans, lentils, different types of whole grains as well. Some nuts. I mean, yeah, you shouldn't eat too much nuts if you want to keep the calories lower. But I mean, there are plant-based sources of protein as well. Like edamame beans is a great snack too, as that is high in protein. But it's important to vary the intake here. So with the plant-based diet, like not all plant-based sources have all essential amino acids. I mean, quite rare, a few of them have all of the 9 essential amino acids. So like combining 2 or more different protein sources can help you get a full protein value. Like quinoa is a great protein source as well. So include like, you know, bits and pieces everywhere. And they're all also like, if you want to include protein powder, there are vegan types as well, like made of pea protein or soy protein. So you can find different ones there as well. But as I said, like track your intake in Lifesum and see how much you actually are eating, because many people are surprised.
Excellent, thank you. We haven't gotten a lot of questions regarding hydration. Could you, Signe, like expand your thoughts a bit on the like elaborate on when it's time for electrolytes again?
Yes,
At
of
what
course.
point do we like want to switch from just plain water to electrolytes and so on?
Yes. So like in general recommended to, like if you're not having like a personal dietitian or personal trainer that says otherwise, of course you should listen to them. But like if your prefer like exercise or race or whatever you're doing lasts for more than 60 minutes, then we want to replenish the loss of electrolytes as well. Because when we sweat, we lose electrolytes. So then we want to include that in the fluid that we drink as well. And it's also beneficial to include some carbs there as well, because then we absorb the water much faster. So both like electrolytes in the types of like sodium, magnesium, potassium, but also some carbs to like optimal hydration, I would say. And then also again, like don't drink like if you're racing, I'm always racing, but if you're like running for 2 hours, don't drink like 2 liters of water after running for an hour, because then you will feel, I promise you, like a bit of a discomfort in your stomach. So it's better to like spread it out. If you know that you're going to run for 2 hours, I mean, drink some water, like it can be like a fourth of a cup every 15 minutes, and then like, you know, do it regularly instead of drinking too large amount at the same time.
We've also gotten a lot of questions regarding fasting and intermittent fasting related to Ramadan, related to working out while fasting. Like how should one proceed with working out while fasting?
I mean, I would say in general, like if you would fast if it's for Ramadan, for instance, I wouldn't really like, especially if you do it like, you know, without even drinking water, I wouldn't recommend you to work out during the fast. But like if you're doing intermittent fasting and if, for instance, if you're fasting like before lunch, for instance, I mean, for some it can work to do some workouts like in the morning and then make sure to just like, you know, hydrate properly and then eat the meal like 2 hours after during lunch. So it's like, it's all up to your individual preferences, of course, but also like depending on what type of workout you're doing and how long the fast is. It is beneficial, like if you're doing something where you're going to perform and you're going to like measure your performance, you will benefit from, of course, having some energy in your system. But as I said, like for some, like just running or doing some endurance exercise on an empty stomach can totally be done. But I would say like if you're doing like a really heavy strength training or like some super intense or explosive workouts, it's beneficial to have some energy in your body as well from food.
Got it. We're gonna do 2 more questions because we're running out of time.
Oh my, yeah, talking for so long.
So, is there a concern with having too much fruit in one meal, i.e. an early morning smoothie, and then spiking blood sugar?
Spiking blood sugar and blood sugar, like, yeah, spikes is quite a hot topic at the moment. And I mean, if you are concerned about getting too high blood sugar spikes, I wouldn't say that you should be too concerned if you are like a healthy adult. But if you're having issues with this, because our bodies are pretty good at regulating those levels. But if you like are concerned and you want to like have a more smooth blood sugar raise, you can include things that helps like to stabilize the blood sugar in that smoothie. So then you can include some sources of protein, include some fiber as well, like mix in some seeds in there, like psyllium seeds, for instance, is a great fiber source. And like, or like have something together with the smoothie, because then it can help to stabilize the blood sugar. So it's not just like spiking, but like in general also, well, like if you eat the whole fruit, then you get like some more, like, you know, you choose something, you get more like things that the body should work with. But if you're drinking it like in a fluid shape, especially if it's like juice like really spikes our blood sugar quite quickly. But if it's like in a smoothie where you like mix everything, then you keep all of the fibers in there, but it's still like more easily digestible than like if you would have the whole fruit or vegetables. But you can also do that, like include some vegetables in the smoothie. It's a great way of getting more vegetables in and also more fiber, more vitamins and minerals.
Excellent. Okay, final question.
Yes.
And again, thank you. We have gotten a lot of great questions. We couldn't get to all of them, but there are a lot of them. And I take this question just because we are a special trio this call where we all have the same preference. So Ida is writing, what can be substituted for oatmeal?
Why would you substitute oatmeal? No, it's everyone's laughing at me at the office because that's my like go-to lunch. But I mean, for oatmeal, you can do other things. If you want to do like try another grain, you could try with like buckwheat, you could try with quinoa or like barley, like you can do different types of porridges as well. But I mean, you could also like, you know, you don't have to eat oatmeal. But you can also do a chia pudding or something else if you want something like similar. But like not everyone needs to love oatmeal. I've understood that in my years. But I mean, try different grains if you don't like oats. You can do like different types. You can try to do like with whole buckwheat or with buckwheat with flakes. Or yeah, Julia, do you have any other suggestions for oats?
I'm thinking it might be a texture issue because some people don't like the texture of oatmeal, and a great way of eating oatmeal but a different like form is doing like pancakes, which is great. I love that. And you can do that, as Signe said, with like buckwheat or any other grain. So if it's a texture thing, try making like a waffle or a pancake. That's a great way of like getting it in, or like making your own bars, which is also nice because then you can still use oats, or you can use whole roasted buckwheat or rye, or you know, all these other nice things, seeds, but it's in like more of a crunchier texture, or like making your own granola that's like better than like you pick the things that you like, and you can add that to yogurt or whatever fits.
That's great. Yeah, if it's a texture issue, you can do whatever you want with oats. You can bake breads, you can make cookies, you can make cakes. Yeah. It's added in smoothies as well. So yeah, definitely. But I mean, thank you so much. I mean, it's been really, really, really great questions in here.
Amazing questions, and also a wealth of knowledge from Julia and Signe. from the oatmeal trio. So as we conclude today's webinar on nutrition for working out pre and post, I would like to extend like a heartfelt thank you to all the participants. Active engagement and great questions, amazing questions. I know we couldn't get to all of them. We'll do them at a later webinar because they were amazing. Thank you for joining. The webinar will be shared. And big thanks to Signe and Julia for answering all our questions. Thank you so much, and looking forward to see you at the next Lifesum webinar. Bye, guys.
Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.